Welcome to episode 10 of La Vida Entre Primas, Life Between Cousins, the podcast where we dive into everything from the ups and downs of love and life to the special bond we share as Latinas and cousins. Today we are exploring the unique dynamics between mothers and daughters because we have our moms here again.
Yay! The dynamic duo is back.
Woo!
We're so excited. We're so excited they're back, and we want to kick it off with a very important question.
Yeah. Why
Don't you tell us?
you love
Us. Tell us.
I love you.
Next.
There's reasons, man.
She tried to get us.
Trying to get you. I love you both.
I'll take that as a
And
win.
I'm not saying I love you too. I love you.
Listen, my mom, Petty LaBelle, after we recorded that first episode, she walked up to me and got in my face, but like she went up to me and was like, I love you. And I was like, thank you.
I think I did the same.
No, I don't think you did. I think you just ignored us.
I did not.
I'm just kidding.
But let's talk about why. Let's just jump right in.
Valid
Let's just jump right in. Part of the reason we have them here is we want to talk about the relationship between mothers and daughters, but also I think something that this podcast has done that's really great is bring up difficult discussions or things that really are unspoken. And my mom was very brave to have a conversation with me after the first or second episode to say, I love it, you're doing great, but you're kind of making my mom seem kind of mean.
I
And I
know.
want to stand up for my mom, which we keep saying, like, Nana was a hard woman.
Yeah.
And my mom's like, you're right, but you should say why instead of just saying that. Because we know why. They know why.
Right.
So I don't know if you want to share why, what you're thinking about that, and then why it's hard to say I love you.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, 100%.
I think that my mom really never said I love you to us. We, like
Never
you guys
said
said,
it.
we felt it, we knew it.
Never questioned it.
There was no doubt.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a word that or it wasn't a sentence that was ever said.
Did
I
your
love you.
dad?
I'm sure I was too young to remember, but I do.
I don't think so.
I was too young to remember, to be honest with you. I don't know, but I think that my mom was the disciplinarian in my mind.
As moms usually
And Jeannie,
are.
and
Yes,
Jeannie,
yes.
Jeannie can have her, because we all seem to have like different versions.
She's the one that gave us poscochones.
Yes, we got the little knocks on the head.
Mhm.
My dad was not the disciplinarian. What I remember was my mom was very loving. My dad was very loving, kind of like a interesting character. Was always very a jokester almost.
Yes.
Yeah. But I don't really remember because I was 7 when he passed away. But my mom was
remember.
always
I think he wanted to be the good parent.
He
He wanted to be the
Usually
parent that
do, the
everybody.
fun one.
Yeah, the fun one. The
Yeah.
fun one. Yeah.
I think
The fun one. He used to take us to POP.
Pacific Ocean Park, Long
Pacific-
Beach.
Long Beach.
I was like, you
OPP?
tell me. Like, yeah, I was like, you know me.
And we had
Grandpa.
And we had to pair up.
Mm.
Cessa took care of Pete. Jaime took care of me. Renee and Terry, and then the twins.
Oh.
I think that was
So
before
put the
twins.
toddlers together.
I think it was
I think
before
it
the
was before the twins.
3-year-olds watch
Before
it.
the twins.
Yeah.
So we used
Yeah.
to pair up, and we had to stay with them, and our parents were behind us, but they had to take care of us until they put me on that ride.
What ride?
You see, and Jeannie remembers more because she was
Sure.
10.
She's
probably.
older.
yeah,
Yeah,
'cause
she's
I'm
older.
They put me on this ride that I cried.
Los
I
pollitos.
cried my eyes out to get on this ride. It was like a Ferris wheel with cute little baby chicks. I want to get on. I cried. My dad says, okay, me and Pete got on. Anyways,
You better know because you're the only one who can tell us.
me and Pete got on.
Definitely. Sorry, I had to say it.
And we finally got us on, and then the ride, Ferris wheel started, and then those cute little birds went upside down. and I was crying over the
my God.
As the
I was
Ferris
crying.
wheel spun,
As
they
the-
spun.
They And I was crying, and he
no,
made
see,
the,
he made him stop it.
No.
he made him
seatbelt.
stop it.
Love it. That's a great dad.
My dad
No,
was like,
he
stop it.
stop that ride right now.
Oh,
And he went and he got me off, and he says,
Wait.
"You wanted to get on?" I said, "Yeah, I know."
Oh, so he did it as a lesson.
No.
So
you didn't see.
She really wanted to get on, but she didn't know that the little baskets.
Nobody paid attention to the basket spinning as the Ferris wheel was going.
Okay.
It's kind of like the one in Disneyland. where
Yes,
it starts
yes.
to slide.
Oh, I love
Oh,
that. I love that one.
I like that.
Yes.
That's really
Yes, and he
that's a good
stopped, and but he was more the fun
Yeah.
dad.
But my mom would
And
get
my
that.
mom,
My mom would get that little dimple in her cheek when she said, "Te acuerdas los pollitos?"
Yeah.
But I think that my mom always was a disciplinarian, even when my dad was around. But I think my mom became more of a disciplinarian when my dad passed away.
Sure.
You got
She
a
had no choice.
45-year-old woman,
crazy.
That's insane.
maybe
crazy.
46, 8 children ranging from 2 years of age to 20. And now I have to raise 8 kids on my own. Because my mom always say, casarme, ni de loca. No, she would
And
say,
the other
"So-"
thing we talked about with Renatito, and I've talked to Cesar about it while we go work. But anyways, we were talking about what would our lives would have been if after my dad died,
Mhm.
everybody was pushing my mom to go live in Nogales.
Oh,
Go
yeah.
back to
Wow.
Nogales. My uncles, my aunts, my grandmother, everybody wanted her back in Nogales with her 8 kids.
That's pretty crazy if you think about it. When
Yeah.
we talk about her being like a hard woman, what I think about is, well, she didn't have time to say I love you. She was raising the kids, making sure there was
Yeah.
income, making sure
Yeah.
there was food, making sure there was a house. Didn't speak the language,
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
and had to learn all the things
Yeah,
that her
and
husband
the
knew.
They didn't know how to do anything.
Yeah.
She
Like,
couldn't
I
pay
did
a
not
bill.
go back.
Like,
Crazy.
No.
Right. And Renatito, when I talked to him last week, he was like, Jeannie, I think your mother was very smart. And she knew that if she went back to Nogales, you guys wouldn't have had
The opportunity.
the opportunities like you
Mhm.
did in LA. No, because she lived there for I don't know how many years
Yeah.
before my dad died. So she knew the
Yeah.
opportunities. And he says, my Nina was very smart.
Super smart.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
brave.
Yeah.
I also
Crazy.
think being a disciplinarian, but the sense of humor this woman had
Oh, yeah.
was something else. And then pair her off with the abuelita,
Oh yeah.
who was like a big clown, a big jokester.
Yeah.
And my mom would just laugh at her jokes. Yeah, but no, but I think that there was a lot of love there. It was just a different form of love.
Yeah.
And I think we didn't know any better.
Yeah.
Like we
Uh-huh.
did never discuss this with our friends, I don't think.
Oh, no.
Does your mom say she loves you?
Yeah.
Does she,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it was not a topic of discussion. So I think it's just what we did or what she didn't do.
I think we're in a different time though now,
Yeah.
where kids are more. This is not to crap on people. This generation are a lot needier. Like, I want to hear it. I want to hear it. Like,
Yeah.
I always felt loved.
Yeah.
I always felt. It's not a question that I was loved. It's just like I tell my kids so much that maybe it loses. How,
Yeah.
you know, or
Yeah.
but when I met Chris, he said, my dad has never, and it's funny, but he said, my dad has never told me he loved me. And I thought that was like shocking because my dad is a softie.
Mhm.
My
Yeah.
dad is comes off as he's
Yeah.
a big softie. And he tells his kids like 100 times a day. Chris tells the kids all the time. But that's not to say we didn't feel loved. I think it's just important, like you said, to share why Nana was so,
Mhm.
Hard.
hard and so like,
I also think that she wanted the best for us.
sure.
She wanted the best for her kids.
Yeah.
And if she had to keep us in line, she was going to keep us in line.
Yeah.
I have many people that say, oh my God, 8 kids living in Lincoln Heights. And how many of you guys, got into trouble with,
Right.
because it was
Because of
well
the
known
times.
that down the street, all the guys that would
Yeah.
hang out, the troublemakers. And, so how many of you guys got like into deep trouble? None of us. We were too scared
Yeah.
to get
We
in
were
trouble.
scared. I was
Right.
going to say,
Yeah.
even in high school, I would not ask permission to go to a high school dance because I knew the answer was no. I knew
But
he
you
was
know
going
it
to
for
say no.
sure. Because we talked
talked
about,
about this.
how my mom told me once, like, you put these restrictions on yourself. If you would have asked me, I would have said yes, or I probably would have said yes. Did you know for sure?
I kind of think my mother would have said no.
Well, the one dance that I went to that I asked for permission, I got in so much trouble
Why?
because she didn't want to go, and my mom said, "Well, we'll go," and then Renee and Jeannie will pick you up afterwards. And I told this story at Willie's funeral. Islas. Willie Islas was a couple of years older than me.
There we go, throwing out last names again.
You know,
Sorry, Willie.
It's
Sorry.
no. Rest in
Rest in
peace.
peace.
Oh,
But what happened is that this was a family friend, right? We grew up with them, and his parents were from Nogales. So after the dance, one of the guys that went to elementary school with me, his brother owned a limousine. And it was all be the
Where is
limousine.
this
Don't
going?
get too
Where
crazy.
is this going?
Don't get too
is
crazy.
it the PG?
So of course.
What
So
time
we
is it
went.
now?
So he says, "Hey, let's go." He was with Willie and said, "Hey, let's go to Tommy's for a burger." I don't know if Gina
that wasn't
remembers
on the
this.
agenda.
And let me tell you, that Willie said, "Terry, you want to go?" Family friend, close family friend, and me being the stupid fool that I am, I'm like, "Yeah, why not? Let's go." I thought free burger, let's go. Tommy's and that. Let's go.
Yes.
Go to Tommy's. They drop me off at the house, and my mother is waiting at the door. And I go and
Smell the chili on your breath.
Woo! She was so angry. And I said, but I was with, family friend. I was, Jeannie and Renee went looking for you. They couldn't find you. And of course, there were no cell phones.
Right.
What was I going to do? Wait on the corner for
So, I know.
in a limo?
So where were you? What?
Yeah.
Went for burgers. She was so angry.
And then you never got to go to another dance.
And I didn't ask her. I don't know. But el permiso fue a ir al baile. Permission was to go to the dance.
Yeah.
But I thought, hey,
It's like
family friend,
you're
let's
supposed
go.
to go
With
to
who
the
you
dance
came back
with
with.
who and then come back with the person.
Well,
that
we all
dropped
know I'm a chubby girl, and when it was free burgers, I was like, let's go. Listen, I'll take my chances. Let's go.
But my dad told me once, the one and only time I did high school, he was like,
Never
told
did
me
I ever.
after, oh God, that's perfect. Anyway, if you were in an accident and somebody called me and said your daughter was in a car accident and where I would say, no, she's at school.
Right.
I think that's
Right.
kind of the thing of you're supposed to be where
Yeah,
you said you were
yeah,
going to be
yeah,
because,
yeah.
yeah.
We couldn't
And-
track people back then.
Right.
No.
yeah.
And the expectation was always there. My mom always said to us,
Yeah.
what was expected. But I figured I'm with a family friend.
Yeah.
Tío and tía, son. Hey, come on. It's
Yeah.
no big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was a big deal.
It was a
It was
a
a
big deal. It was a big deal.
And didn't she get mad at Marty and Marsha 50 years, 40,
I was
30 years
gonna
later, 30 years later for going to a dance that they didn't ask permission?
No. Grad night.
Oh.
What?
You didn't hear?
I don't know this
I
story.
remember this.
I think a few years, obviously a few years ago, before my mom passed away, a few years before my mom passed away, we were talking, I think Marty, one of the twins said, because I think on TV came out grad night and something or other, and my mom said something like, yo nunca las dejé ir a grad night. And Marty said, que la Marcia fuimos. We went to grad night. My mom's like, no, I did not give you permission to go to grad night. And Marty
Oh my gosh.
or Marsha, I don't know which one it was. They continued on with, yeah, but it was so cool, and all our friends. What time are we at?
14 minutes. You're good.
I shit you not. My mom did not speak to the twins for at least 2 days. And it was 30 years later
I mean,
that
Wow.
they had no permission to go to grad
But
night.
what would she have done? That's I think that's fear, but also respect. What would she do if you did it? She wasn't gonna beat you. She wasn't gonna not feed you.
Was she gonna beat you?
No.
Nobody jumped in there and said no.
No.
She maybe wasn't gonna feed them.
No, I think
The disappointment.
I think the no talking to you would have been worse
That's always the worst.
than the
Yes.
eating.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you do that to me, I think, or
Just
like
be me.
I do.
you've given me the
Cold shoulder.
The cold shoulder.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think it's a natural response. Like, let's just.
But now
cool
I know
down,
where you
but-
get it from.
I mean, you learn. You do what you learn. You do
Yeah.
what you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
You never got beat either.
I never got beat.
Great kid. Great mother.
Yeah, 100. I never got beat. Although I did get beat once. I mean, not beat. That's don't play with that. You're gonna hear it on the thing.
Oh.
Was she scared? She's like, when did I beat her up? When did I beat her up?
What'd you do?
We were in her room. She was sitting watching TV, and I wrapped up a newspaper. And I was like, Mom, don't move. So fly on your head.
Was there
No,
a fly?
hell no, there wasn't a fly. And I rolled up the newspaper and I got it and I said, come here, you bastard. And I hit her on top of the head with the newspaper. Did she come after you?
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah, she came after me.
I didn't beat her though.
No, yeah, I didn't get beat.
I just ignored her for days. No.
But did you ever tell her you're gonna rip her face off?
So listen, this
I don't
is
think so.
this is Talavera family lore.
I can remember where I was. I can remember where we're going. I can remember where we're doing. But I will tell you the full circle moment. She was combing my hair in the Sonova house in Montecito Heights, and we were at Our Lady of Guadalupe. I must have been like 11.
Yeah.
Our Lady of Guadalupe. Is that okay?
Dale.
Is that okay?
Better. Yeah, better.
She was combing my hair in the morning. I was probably complaining. And she was so frustrated that she's like, I'm going to rip your face off. My mom has never said anything like that, never hit us, never. And I remember being like, so that's like the like,
Yeah.
that's the lore. That's the, every time something happens, I'm like, rip your face off. Now that I'm 42 and my kids are that age, I'm like, I freaking get it.
You're okay, we're at 15.
I fucking get it. I get it.
You're gonna rip their faces off too?
Oh, I don't tell her. I'm like, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you. I've never beat them, but like, I get it. I'm like, she was PMSing. She was tired. I was fucking complaining about my hair. Oh.
I know, but in 2024, you cannot tell the kids I'm gonna beat your ass. They're gonna go to school and they're gonna be like, my mom said she's gonna beat my ass tonight.
to go rip your
You're
face
gonna
off.
have that one kid.
Sophie told me once, I'm gonna record you. And I'm like, do it, baby.
There was no time for any of that when we were growing up.
No.
Right.
You know, and we, I mean, there were things that would happen. I mean, there were funny things. I remember my dad still being alive, and he had bought some candies. They were put in the fridge, some chocolates, a cherry Olette. Remember the cherry Olette? And and there were candies,
Cordial cherries?
and
No.
there were enough for not cordials, they were cherry Olettes. They had nuts and cherries and chocolate. It was like a mound,
Like coconut.
like maybe coconut. Yeah. So they were in there, and then there was one missing.
Yes.
Cherry Olette.
Okay.
Let me see. There was one missing.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah.
There was this one here. Yeah, there was one missing, and my dad, hilarious. Now I think it's hilarious. It was like in a movie. My dad lined us all up, 8 of us. 8 of us.
Spotlight.
Where were you?
On the night.
Blow in my face.
It was the 8 of us, and he wanted to know who took the candy. And I think it was a 6 because the twins were really small.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't have reached the cherry list. And they were in the fridge, and it was like, no, nobody fessed up. And then Jaime would start giggling, and then Pete would start giggling, and my dad he got angrier and angrier. We never found out
No.
None of us got cherry Olettes, let me tell you. We never found out who.
Even
but,
to this day?
but today I will tell you it was Jaime. It was him.
You think so?
I think it was him.
Guess what we're talking? Oh, this episode's gonna come out next week. But guess what we're asking him next week when we see him?
It was
Cherry
Jaime.
Olette.
Cherry Olette.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to tell him anything.
I'm not gonna say a word.
I'm just gonna say, hey, I'm gonna FaceTime you. I'm
Only
gonna
because he
ask
would be
you.
the gutsiest one to do it. The rest of
I
us
mean,
were
it was
sissies.
good. I mean, now unfortunately now, like, you guys can turn around and be like, it was Renee, it was Pete.
No.
You can put the blame on people.
No, Renee used to sell my mother's empanadas at school and make money, but he wouldn't get the Cheeriolite.
And Jaime sold the tarantulas.
What?
What?
Jaime would sell the tarantula.
He would climb flat tops and dig out the tarantulas.
Where you saw the Llorona?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
sell them at Cathedral High School for science class.
That's brilliant.
Wow. I'm going to write this down and ask him next week.
Oh, that's
Lots
cool.
of-
I'll be there.
Lots of stories, lots of things we used to do.
Oh man.
Or standing in line waiting. My dad used to buy for Easter the dozen eggs, the marshmallow eggs,
Oh, yeah.
and give us 2 each.
Oh.
That was our Easter gift.
We'd also get little live chickies. And in
Oh,
the
I
middle
love
of the night,
live
we'd hear the coyotes eating them.
Oh my
Or
god.
little
That happened to
chickies.
me, remember?
Don't cancel us.
That happened to me, remember?
I mean, that's a coyote.
Yeah.
I got baby chicks one year and I forgot to bring them in from outside.
Yeah.
The coyotes, I went outside the next morning to feed them and they were gone.
That's awful.
They got eaten.
Sad.
I know.
Do you remember when your guppies gave birth in the tank?
Ew.
And it was like hundreds. Do you remember
Hundreds of little guppies.
Remember when
Yeah.
your lovebirds froze to death?
I know when they broke
Oh.
We should stop. We're gonna get canceled.
when they broke the
I know.
fish tank.
Oh, when they broke the fish tank. That's a Michael and Lisa story.
I don't remember that. We gotta.
Well, getting back to it.
Yeah,
though.
go back to it. Yeah, let's bring it back in.
Bring it
Whoever
back
back
to
in.
it.
We just tell stories. It's what we do.
I know. I think my mom had a lot of respect from a lot of people
Yeah.
in the community, her friends, her friends, just a lot of respect, I think, just
I gotta tell
because
a story.
of what she went through. 8 kids. I mean, really, when you think
Yeah,
about it.
during
8
those
kids,
times.
Yeah.
That was a lot.
During those times, it was a lot.
They did respect her, that's for sure.
They did respect her, and she really knew nothing. When Jeannie
They
said,
respect her so much that they left her outside of church by herself.
No,
Not you.
No.
I'm talking about the ladies leaving her.
There was a lady one time, and Michael was in kindergarten at Glen Elton. And I started meeting these people, and then the lady tells me, "What church do you go to?" And I said, "Oh, Guadalupe." She goes, "Oh, I do too." She goes, "But there's a lady there. I go help make tamales, and she yells at us, and she's mean, and she says you're not doing it right, and you gotta do the masa right, and they all have to be the same, and you guys don't know, you can leave." And I said, "Wait a minute." I said, "Who are you talking about?
She sounds awful.
Who are you talking about? I've never seen anything at the church."
I don't know who's yelling at the
And she
church.
goes, "La señora Cajigas." And I said, "Oh, wait a minute. This is my mother. She didn't know.
She had no
She
idea.
says she got pale and red at the same time. She goes, "Don't tell her. Don't tell her. Don't tell her what I said. Please don't tell her. Me va a regañar. Ya no voy a ir. Me va a regañar." I went home. I told my mother. I said, "You know what Mrs. So-and-so," I'm not going to say her name. "Mrs. So-and-so said about you." She goes, "Espérate hasta la otra que la vea."
That's basically just wait until the next one I see.
And guess what?
She was gonna rip her a new one
She ripped her a
again.
new one when she saw it. She goes, "I hear you talking about me at Glen Alta."
Oh my gosh! Imagine.
And now they were good friends.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah, yeah.
But-
She'd always laugh about it. You're not gonna know.
Okay.
See you later.
Okay.
Steph's trying to get the gossip. Steph's trying to get the cheese. She wants to know the name.
So speaking of her influence in the community, I'm gonna read our first email that we got. Okay.
Yeah.
We cried on FaceTime. Okay.
We did.
This is from one of our primas that wants to be anonymous. Where to start? I will start off with a story about your nana. I was 19 in my second year of undergrad at U of San Francisco, and I had gotten a call to come home if I wanted to see my grandmother alive one last time. My abuelita had been battling stage 4 colon cancer. My heart shattered into pieces as I had just seen her 3 weeks prior. I got to LA, stayed at my grandma's house, didn't leave unless I had to. My grandma passed on November 4th.
We're recording on November.
Oh my gosh, on November 4th. And I was there wanting to be with her when she took her last breath, but my aunt kicked me out of the room because I was just her granddaughter. Her passing was the hardest thing to deal with. She was my friend, my grandma, my confidant, my second mom. At her funeral mass, I read, I want to say La Primera Lectura. It was the hardest thing I had to do, holding back my tears during the reading. At the end of mass, your nana came up to me and asked me why I was not sitting with my brothers and sisters. while I was sitting alone with the grandchildren when I should be with the sisters. I told your Nana, well, it was my grandma.
It's okay.
She was, I'll have Tim take it out. She, sorry, was your grandma. She was, I don't believe you. Your grandma talks so fondly of you. You are studying in San Francisco. She calls you every other day and every Sunday before the 9 p.m. mass at her school. She talked about me, huh? And I always thought you were her daughter. She loved you so much and was so proud of you. I told her, really? I never knew that. Today I was trying not to cry while reading because I no longer have her. She said she would, oh, I'm sorry. I'm reading that weird. Hold on. She told grandma that today when she was trying not to cry when she was doing the reading because she no longer had her grandma. She said she would have been so proud of you for reading so beautifully. Your Nana's words are what kept me going when I missed my grandma, when the family was laughing and a piece of me went with her. My aunt would tell me, why are you crying so much? It was just your grandmother that passed away. My grandma was everything to me. I told her she was my second mom, and my aunt slashed back saying, well, I guess you don't have that great of a mom that you need a second one. I didn't argue with my aunt, only I knew what my grandma meant to me. It was then that I realized my grandma and I had such a special bond that her daughters were jealous of it. Or at least that's what I tell myself. But your Nana knew how much my grandma loved me. And every time I miss her and I want to cry, I think back to the words your Nana told me that day. I never knew you were her granddaughter. I always thought you were her youngest. She loved you so much and she always talked about you. Your grandma was so proud of you. Your Nana's words are what kept me going that year. And to this day, I think about how I've carried her words with me in my heart. And they bring me happiness when I am most missing my grandma. She validated my sadness. I felt so understood and loved. She gave me the nicest and biggest hug ever. It is then that I realized that to some people, you are just one person, but to others, you are their world. My grandma was my world. To think I was going to send you the worst date ever story. But today I miss my grandma so much. All I could think is how your Nana comforted me when I most needed it. She said exactly what I needed to hear when I needed to hear it. I still owe you a dating story. Until next time.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
We're crying again.
I know.
Damn it.
You know we're crying.
And I think there's a lot of people that have their own stories that we don't know of.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there's lots of people in the community in the church
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
that we have no idea what my mom has done for them.
You know, I think also one of the things, my mother had a knack for words.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw it and I would feel it. I think just her putting her hand on your shoulder was like everything was good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Everything was good. And again, I think her words to some people, she always seemed to hit have the right thing to say.
I agree.
Yeah.
And obviously, just in listening to this email, you know, what could have been just to somebody else, just a few words. It's obviously she's carried it in her heart for many years.
Yeah.
Wow. I want to be my mom.
Right?
You have good words.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah,
You have good words.
You have your knack with words too. You have your
For
way with
sure.
words. If you need a eulogy, just hire her.
You googly. Just die.
I didn't mean it like that.
Okay, so I want to talk about something else. I want to talk about the foundation of the mother-daughter relationship and the early bond, because we know, if you don't know, one of my passions is postpartum care, breastfeeding, nursing, that kind of stuff. So we know how important it is to have a bond with your child when they're born. But it's a different time now. Like now they're more sensitive to that. I feel like back in the day, two things. It was very clinical. Like you were born in a hospital with like whatever forceps, whatever they need to do, separate you from your baby, clean the baby, and they were separated. But both of our moms experienced something traumatic at birth with us, with Alma being very premature and my mom having placenta abruptus.
Mhm.
Yes.
Mhm.
So both of us potentially could have died at birth. So what is that like, the trauma, or what is the feeling when you're having a child that you might lose?
Yeah.
It was very scary because I remember I was in the hospital a month and a half before Alma. I had a C-section. A month and a half. And right away my mother's, háblale al padre Tim. I would call her, Mom, today they're going to do the C-section. Call Father Tim. Call Father Tim. He has to be there. He has to baptize her right when she's born. Okay. I called her 3 hours later. No, they're going to wait a month and a half like that. So it was very, very scary because Lisa and Michael were with my mom and everybody else taking care of them, Seth and, Terry, everybody watching the other kids.
The others.
While I was laying in that bed for a month and a half.
I didn't realize you had a C-section.
Yes, because I had the placenta previa too. And
Did you have you had placenta previa?
Placenta
That's
previa.
what my mom had with me.
Yes, and I was constantly bleeding. They told me, we cannot send you home because you can bleed to death. The hospital was 15 minutes away.
What hospital was it?
Huntington.
Oh, you're born in Huntington.
Yeah. And they said, we can't send you home. There's
Placenta
no way.
previa is when the placenta's under the baby, so the baby can't come.
So
It's
right.
coming first,
Okay.
yeah.
So
and
it's
blocking.
ripping and you're
Away from the
hemorrhaging.
lining. Got it.
Yeah.
Usually the baby comes out, then
Right.
the placenta.
Yeah.
detaches.
Correct.
So that was touch and go like every day. And finally the day that they did the C-section, I said, okay, for sure. She goes, pues yo no voy a ir hasta que no esté seguro. I said, okay.
Okay, I'm not gonna go until you actually have the
So,
child.
right. So anyways, had the C-section, very small. She was 3 pounds.
21 inches long.
21 inches long. So she was
So long.
tiny. Yeah.
3 times.
Tiny.
I fit in a shoebox.
How many
How do we
inches
know
long?
that? 21.
21.
How do we know that? Because they actually did it.
That's fine.
I feel like that's what she's always
a 3
That's what she's
Yeah.
always told me.
Yeah.
Let's find the birth
That was
certificate.
not 21 inches. She was
Yeah,
not.
she was.
She's like, I was there. That. Pointing
That was-
I will
That
show
was
you the
nothing.
paperwork. I think it was. I think
We
she
have to
was.
get that.
They
photo.
mismarked that.
All brown.
She was here.
Dude.
I know
Are
she
you
was.
kidding me?
And she came home. Well, wait. First of all, she had to stay. I came home.
She said,
stayed.
"You're good to go now. You can't bleed out
she
anymore."
had to
Go
stay.
home.
She was born December 5th. So she stayed. So the twins and the other family members would go visit her because I could not. I had a C-section. Christmas Day, the doctor says, "You can come get her." I said, "Mm-mm." I said,
She
"She's
didn't
too
want
small."
me. She didn't want me. She said, "No."
I said, "She was a small." He goes, "Why? She's 4.5 pounds."
Yeah.
I said, "Our family is used to 9-pounders."
Right? What do you do
8
with
and
the
9-pounder?
4-pounder? That's scary.
I said, "Nope." She goes, "Nope, this is what you have to do. You come and get her. You have to take her." I'm like, "Okay."
Do I have to?
So what did you like? How did you?
In a
She's too
shoebox? No, I'm kidding. No.
She carried me in the
Too
shoe.
small for a crib.
Like a poor little bird.
No, she wasn't
who was
a
trying to
bassinet.
recuperate. She brought me home with the lid on top of the shoebox.
Roach, you'd have to put it there. No, she came home in Cabbage Patch clothes that were too big for her. So we had to tie a string of to hold it up.
She was born a poor child.
Yes. And then another quick story. My mother was so happy she was home. She wanted to buy her baby clothes because preemie clothes,
Yes. Didn't
A
exist 40
newborn.
years ago.
you can't fit. So my mom came home one day. She went to Save on Drugs back in the day. She says, I bought something for Alma to wear. I said, what is it? Little tiny sweaters like this. I said, Mom, where did you just
Have you heard this?
just a sweater? Just a sweater. She brought out 5 of them. I said, Mom,
La inocencia. She said, Mom, what is this? My mom got them, looked closer, they were dog sweaters. It said like barf. Like barf.
they were on sale.
Woof woof. They were on chihuahuas.
They were on sale. Oh my God.
Little arms that came out straight.
So she had to go the next day and return them after we laughed about it. But I mean, it was just,
She also said
it
it was
wasn't
the dead chickens in Chinatown.
Oh, the ducks
Grandma.
upside
Yeah.
down.
The ducks
You were,
hanging upside
you were
down.
pretty brown.
And then
You were
pretty
pretty
brown.
brown.
I'm not,
I
well,
was a little hairy.
I already called him out when Father Tim went,
Oh yeah.
bless his soul, the next day to baptize her, went to the hospital. Baptized her, came up to see me. I said, Father, how is she? She says, well, she's okay.
You know, like when parents post their newborn kids and they're like not cute at all. It's
Yeah.
like that's Father Tim trying to be like,
she's beautiful.
She has a lot of hair.
Yeah.
What a sweet baby.
She's beautiful in God's eyes.
He goes, she's fine. She's fine. So, okay.
Oh my God.
So do
Yeah.
you think? Well, we love all of our kids equally. We do. Equal. I always tell my kids, I love you all the same, but differently. Do you feel like that was a closer because you thought you were gonna lose her?
Maybe, yeah. But she's not the favorite. Let me put that out right now.
Oh,
But she thinks she's a favorite.
She's just no. You want to know who the favorite is? Michael's the favorite.
you know,
All
I'm
the
gonna tell
boys,
you,
all the boys.
I
yeah.
would have said no, but my boy, is
my boy.
Right?
I
It's
love
the
you
boys.
so much. I got to school today. He's like, I love you so much, Mom. I love you so much. Didn't Carol was around. I love her so much too.
Michael's the favorite.
She didn't say no.
He's not.
Lisa's the favorite. I mean, she almost died. I guess she
have-
really almost died.
I have no favorites.
Okay.
I love you
I
all the
think as
same.
they say,
I love you.
I think
Oh, see, she did that. I love you too.
I think there's no favorites, but there's different personalities.
Yes.
Different characters, you know, like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
different love.
My
a
mom and
different
Tim
love.
are pretty similar.
Yeah. They
They're
are.
pretty. You guys are pretty similar.
Oh,
You
I
and Tim.
think you. Oh yeah. Oh
I'm
yeah.
pretty awful. I'm like my dad. It's
yeah.
pretty difficult.
Your dad's not
Happened the
awful.
other day. No, but I mean, we're
Just-
pretty like. I don't know. Tim just goes with the flow, and I'm just like my dad. Where I'm just like,
Yeah.
something happened the other day. I was like, that's why my mom hated me. What was it? Not that you hated me. Not that you hated me, but I'm like, during that period when you're like, well, that was my next question, is like navigating difficult periods of. So like right now, me and Sophia are like,
It's
We're
just
like-
a phase, yeah.
yes, yes,
That's it.
I never had that one.
no. Wow. Well, I was terrible.
She said, I never had that with Elma. She had it with Michael and Lisa.
I mean,
You know, I don't know if we lose our memories, but my memories are but I don't remember going through lots of phases with both Tim and Stephanie. I mean, you know, when you hear with teenagers, you know,
Yeah.
you go through this and they're into that, and they're,
we weren't bad.
no,
weren't
Yeah,
bad.
none of us.
We weren't
no,
bad,
No,
and we weren't like, how do I say?
maybe because we kept you under control. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, because of their background and how grandma raised them, like
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting though because my mom being so like iron fist versus my dad, who was one of
Right.
16
Mhm.
right.
and had a lot more freedom. My dad was more like
Yeah.
Oh,
more
I'm like,
like
go.
yeah,
Let
my
it
mom's like,
go.
let them, yeah,
interesting.
uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Huh.
It is weird.
It is.
Well, I will say that I had placenta abrupta.
And that's when the placenta explodes.
Explodes.
Right? Yeah.
But you know, when you're having your first child, this
You
is
don't know.
natural. It's just,
Yeah.
I remember telling Peter saying, this is a little more than the little spotting that you get. It's like, as I
Yeah.
walked out with a Chuck as a diaper.
Oh,
I didn't know. I
Honestly.
didn't know. It didn't. And then what was harder for me is that I was at, what's that, Atlantic?
Garfield. No.
No, I was at Atlantic.
Monterey Park. Hospital.
Monterey Park Hospital,
Yes.
and Stephanie was taken to Garfield Hospital
Garfield Hospital.
Oh.
because they say, you know, when you have a baby, their APGAR score is 0 to 10.
Uh-huh.
Stephanie's was a 2,
damn.
which is
Ay,
the
meo
lowest.
caca.
She ate her own poop.
Better than me.
Better, oh.
Better than what?
You know what?
Like if you were a twin, like better than me. Twin and
Oh my
twin.
god! I did not eat my own twin,
Oh my
but I
God.
did eat
Oh
my
my
own
God.
shit.
I was
Oh my God.
You twins poop? No. Anyway,
Wait. This is going somewhere.
I know this
No,
is
we
going
can't.
somewhere. You can't.
You can't.
Okay. So,
No, but I mean, better to eat your poop.
your own twin.
Yeah. Okay.
Go on, sorry,
Something's
go on.
happening here. Let's
Go
just
on.
move on.
Sorry.
Something's
Go on.
happening here.
Go on.
But yeah, I think you going to another hospital and me being
Uh-huh.
in,
That's the worst.
in my own hospital was really difficult, and it was cesarean, the same. But I don't think
But listen, my C-section, because I had C-section,
yours
it was like
yours?
very dainty.
oh yeah.
Dude, my mom is like,
Mine was
From-
an emergency.
from like straight up and down. Like no, like it's crazy.
That's why I can't wear a bikini anymore.
I know.
Wait if I get up, Steph.
I'm
Wait
sorry.
anymore for her.
Anymore.
Wait if I
Yeah,
stop for
because it
her.
was an emergency.
Yeah.
I thought it was normal. And when I got to the hospital, they're like, oh,
How long did she stay in the hospital?
10 days. Yeah.
How many was she in the hospital?
20. She just said I came home on Christmas. Do the math.
Christmas Day.
Listen,
Christmas Day, and I didn't want to bring her home.
I know. She's like, can she just stay a
well,
little
my mom
longer?
wanted me.
You know, and I'll tell you, I will tell you when I had
Savage.
when I had Tim, first time was not good because I thought of my mother. They said, "Did you eat dinner yet?" I said, "No, I had dinner." And then they brought me a sandwich, so I ate a tuna sandwich, and I it's gonna be TMI, but you know what? When you have surgery, that's why they tell you not to eat because everything sits in your stomach and just starts to form gases.
The gas pains.
Oh,
Listen, that gas pain will make you
horrific.
think you're dying. Honestly,
It was horrific. And I remember I had the cesarean, they took Tim to the nursery, and then the next day it still was like,
We had 2 dinners.
we had 2 days.
Wow.
So then the next day they took Tim. Okay, Mom, you're still in it. On day 3, because we stayed longer in the hospital. On day 3, I was buzzing the nurse. I'm like, are you gonna take him? They're like, oh no, Mom, you're okay now.
Oh,
I was
Yes.
like, what?
but he almost died too.
But he almost,
He
yeah.
had a what's it called?
Oh, the
Pyloric
surgery.
stenosis, yeah.
Oh my! I remember
Yeah,
sitting
the
in a
blockage.
bed in Montebello, him sitting at the head of the bed,
Uh-huh.
and me at the foot,
Uh-huh.
and him vomiting and
Yeah.
it reaching me across like a king
Yeah.
size bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why he has that weird scar.
Yeah.
And he likes to tell stories. But
Who's your
that's fine.
favorite?
I have no favorite.
Yeah, but well, I can't tell that here. So what about what about navigating generational differences? So the way that you were parented versus how you parented us versus how you see us parenting and teaching our kids. Because I know me and my mom have a little like, for example, mayonnaise. The other day she made my son loves mayonnaise. Mayonnaise. We made chicken salad the other day. She's like, he told me when we got home, he's like, I love you so much, Mom. Your tuna's better. First of all, my kids all tell me that my mom's food is better than mine. That's okay. Fine with that. But he's like, your tuna's better than Nana's because Nana's is too pink. He wants it like
It's dripping with mayonnaise.
Oh my God.
You think there's sour cream in there?
Oh.
And I see her sometimes where the other day he had chicken salad and it was dry. You know, it soaks up the mayo.
Yeah.
So I put more and she was like, I see her bite her tongue. Dude, it was so much mayo. I'm like, listen,
That's just grandma though.
That's
That's
so
grandma.
much mayo. And I'm
I
like,
think that times are different from when.
you made me
Well,
fat.
What did I say? So you can make a kid fat? Okay, so.
He's perfect.
Okay, so I think when we were being brought up, it was different, obviously, from when we were bringing you guys up. But watching you bring your kids up and things that you do, yeah, sometimes I'm like, what's she doing?
Like what? Give me an example.
Mayonnaise!
Give me an example. You won't hurt my feelings.
No,
I always
no.
tell people I'm not the best. I'm a good mom, but I'm not the best.
You
I can do
are a
things
good
better.
mom. You are
You're
a good mom. But you know, it's the no. Dad told me never to say but because and
That makes sense.
just the I think a lot of kids don't understand what consequences are right
I'm
now.
terrible at that. I'm
And
not
you
gonna
know-
lie. I'm
and-
terrible. I never stick to a consequence.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes it difficult for mom and dad and for the kids.
Mm.
You don't know what the consequences
Oh,
are.
you mean like when all the kids come to my house and there's no rules at Aunt Jeannie's house?
There you go.
Similar.
Except playing on the stairs. You can't play on the stairs.
Okay.
Other than that, there's no rules.
I love that. That's what
Yeah,
I'm
there's
thinking
no-
of.
And lots of
At Jeannie's
snacks.
house.
And
The
lots of
best
snacks.
snack.
Well, but the other thing is it's really funny because I will tell the kids, oh, you're gonna leave that. You just gonna drop that napkin right there? What are you gonna do at your house? Oh no, I'll throw it in the trash in my house. All right, so do the same in my house.
I think that's also navigating like being two different grandparents. My dad's like, do whatever you want.
Right.
And my mom's
Right.
like, but it goes back to like your dad being like the fun one
Yeah.
versus
Yeah.
somebody has to be the disciplinarian.
fun too.
She was fun. She was fun.
Just a lot of differences.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of, do you remember the story that we told on the first one when I came home and said at the dinner table that women bleed from their vaginas?
Yeah.
Do you remember that conversation?
Oh yeah. I also remember Stephanie sitting another day at the dinner table and she wanted to shave her legs. And Peter was like, no. And she had this whole
Everyone a
dissertation.
dissertation, baby.
She did a whole
PowerPoint?
dissertation
There
on
was
why she should. She even shed
my
a tear.
self-esteem is going
My
down.
self-esteem,
Stop
everybody
it.
else is, and my self-esteem is so low because my legs are so hairy. Peter was like, here's a razor, go.
Yeah.
And you know what I did?
Remember those flickers?
Yeah. I went to the bathroom and shaved my legs, and then I
Cut
got
yourself?
a
You
cut.
cut
And I
yourself.
was like, how'd that happen? I was like, the razor fell in the bathtub.
You put your bangs like this.
What about the eyebrow before prom?
That was Lisa's fault. That was not my fault. That was before I went informal.
What happened?
Stupid Lisa.
Was wax
She brought home some like wax that you warmed up in your hands
from Target.
from Target, and she looked me dead in the face. And this was before I knew when Lisa lies her nostrils flare. And so she looked me dead in the face and was like, I already tried it on my eyebrows. Like, look how good this is. She wanted to test it on me to see if it worked. So I was like, okay, fine. So she warms it up, puts it on my eyebrow.
Before the winter formal?
Yeah, like
A
yeah.
week before.
freaking peels it off, took a big old chunk out of my like eyebrow. And she's like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. My mom wasn't home. I don't know where she was, but then my mom came home. She's like, get in the car. We're going to San Diego Mall right now. Like, my mom took me to like Clinique, and I had to buy like an eyebrow pencil. And it's when I was playing basketball too, and I was like, I can't wear makeup at practice. It's gonna sweat off. My mom's like, I don't care. You're wearing this because it is not okay.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I was a senior in
How do
high
you have
school.
Stephanie with a mustache?
She ripped this. She did something similar. She ripped the skin off of my upper lip so much so that my parents were sticklers about school. Were like, she was like, you could stay home for 2 days. But I tried to put makeup, and they were gonna report you. Oh yeah, it was so bad. And then remember, Paul was like, "Did you change the wax?"
I told you to change the wax. I said, you did.
Oh, it was so
God.
painful. It
That's
was
the
so
worst.
painful. So what about, I would love to know, do you ever feel like Nana was, like what the joyful moments were of being a daughter and a mother with Nana? And then how do you feel, what are the joys of mother and daughter relationship for you guys?
Joy, so joy.
Like for me, my joy for my kids is seeing them just be more, like the other day, Sophie washed her own water bottle and
Yeah.
charged her own laptop. And I was like, oh God, what's
Dude, that's
Yeah.
a long way, being that you still put her backpack in the car for her.
you know what?
I'm so
Oh.
that actually hurt. I'm just saying. Although I was hanging out with some coworkers and they listened to the podcast and that was a topic of conversation. In a good way.
What do? Did they put their kids' backpacks in the car? My
I
mom
don't
would have
know.
never.
I
That's why I was
don't
more
know.
self-sufficient. Not to be like a bee, but like
Right.
you can get your own shit, put it in the car.
100%. If you
Yeah.
forgot it, guess what?
My kids
That's
were like,
on
well,
you.
who did it for you? I'm like, I woke myself up. I got myself up. Don't get me wrong, my parents helped me, but like, they didn't have to come in. We had that Nickelodeon alarm clock.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Shorts?
Yes, we got
Yes.
up.
Yes.
We dressed ourselves. They combed our hair, ripped our faces off,
Right.
got us ready, put us in the
Right.
car, and we went. But yeah, sorry. I'm sorry.
No,
Sorry.
I was gonna say I think the joy just of watching my mom with not only my kids, but all the grandkids. You know, watching her with the kids is like that was always very a happy moment for me. You know, that she just enjoyed everybody and didn't feel not even one regret to say you're all too loud.
Mhm.
Everybody go home.
I mean, there was a couple times that she like yelled at us, I think.
Oh, yeah.
But not like because we were
But we
too
always
loud.
felt welcome and loved there.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
And I also like when she'd sit and talk with you guys,
Oh yeah.
you know, or when you that day that you showed her the
Oh, she was so happy.
The-
Remember
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
yes,
Yes,
the
popped in my head.
the fiestas de Mayo from Nogales, and she was like, oh my God, she was so amazed that they're still doing that, that they still honor her sister.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Well, kind of the same, but just as far as my kids, just seeing how they've grown up to be good adults,
Yeah.
good
The
humans,
best. The
good
best.
humans,
Good humans, yeah.
and actually all the nieces and nephews, you know, are working and being responsible.
And I think that they're And I think that they're more apt, Jeannie, any of the nieces and nephews are more apt to say, well, but Nana did that. Or Nana taught us that. Yes, yes, we have taught you, Stephanie, things to do, but you always seem to revert back to memories of what Nana used to do.
For sure.
Nana.
Yeah.
So I think that in combination.
Right.
For sure.
I think that's why when we do our we want to do a cousin one with like
Oh, that would be so
everyone
cool, yeah.
somehow logging on to like Zoom or something. But
Yeah.
like the differences of those who like weren't around as much.
Yeah, like the East Coast
Like
didn't
East Coast
get.
or even
Yes.
I mean,
or
they
even,
felt
you know,
love.
much
Nina's
as us,
kids
yeah.
living them living out in Rancho. Like that was a long drive
Yeah,
back in the
yeah,
day.
yeah,
like,
yeah. Oh yeah, heck yeah.
So just the differences or the similarities
And yeah, because some were really into it because she had a very big influence on the ones that were closer.
right.
Big
Yeah.
time.
So you all would think twice about doing something
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
because you would think, and maybe the ones that were further, they had another let's see where they want to hear another influence.
Yeah.
You know, maybe the other side of the family, and that's where they got
Right,
their influence.
Yeah.
But I think all in all, really, I mean, everybody's just done a good job in their lives, and you know what? And if they haven't, I am a firm believer that there's always hope, and it's never too late.
Yeah.
You know, to move forward.
Mm-hmm.
100%.
I'm still trying.
Honestly.
Every day.
Same.
every day.
So tell us your most memorable experience or memory with your mother.
What? Are you talking to me?
Yeah, I was looking right at you.
Oh, I was like reading the notes. Sorry.
I just came up with it off the top of my head.
I thought you were talking to them still.
You guys go.
I have, you know what? I have a memorable one, and I was like 5, but I remember when oh gosh, mi tata Jesus died in December.
December 26th.
Okay, so her father died in a car accident. When did mi Pepa die?
Wait, whose father died in car accident?
Nana's. Yeah. When did mi Pepa die? Because now it's like so memorable. I can't remember if it was my grandfather or if it was my great grandmother. But I remember going to Nogales. My dad couldn't go right away because of his job. I remember getting on the bus with my mom.
It must have been just you because I don't remember.
It was just
going-
me. It was just me and my mom, and we took the Greyhound to Nogales, and then my dad brought everybody else.
Oh.
Maybe a day or so, like a couple days later. So that
Having
always
that one-on-one time.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I'm sure with 8 kids,
Yeah.
that wasn't a whole lot.
and I was a favorite. So.
Yeah, you were.
The original baby.
The
original baby.
baby.
Got
that right. No, I always think of that. Like now I can't remember it because my Pepa died very, very soon after
Yes.
my grandfather, and they had a very, from what I hear, they had a very close bond. My grandfather with his mother-in-law.
Oh,
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
yeah.
I can't think of a memorable one. There's a lot,
Mhm.
but to just say one, I can't think of one with my mom.
What about the worst?
Ooh, damn.
The worst?
Or
We're
the
trying
most
to make
like
Nana like.
No, I'm just thinking I'm thinking about my mom's like pepino story, or was it cabbage?
Jesus Christ, yeah, man, mom.
What was that
Yeah.
one? Did you not know what a pepino?
She knew what a manguera
So,
was.
so yes, I did know what a manguera was. I always wanted a bicycle.
Oh.
And Art took my mom and took us to get the bicycle. He knew a guy who would get a good deal, good price for a bicycle. $75 later, my mother says, "Esto es a good deal." No, but she bought it. So then I had to make use of that bicycle because she was, $75. So she gave me, as Stephanie would say, she gave me $2, $1.50, put it in my hand and said, go, it was summer, hot summer day, and said, ride your bike over to Capital Market and bring me,
Big hill she had to go over.
bring me calabacitas. Dos calabacitas. She was making some, dos calabacitas. I swear I thought I was gonna die coming back over the hill. I was beet red. I was sweating bullets. I was sweating in places I shouldn't sweat. I was so hot. And I walked in and I gave her 2 calabacitas and she'd say, Dije pepinos. Go back. A glass of water, please.
So you brought pepinos.
I brought no. She wanted yes.
You
She
brought
wanted
calabacitas.
She wanted
Okay.
calabacitas, and I brought the other one. I brought
shoot.
cucumbers, and she said, "Dije calabacita." She made me go back on the bike. It was hot.
Yeah.
It was hot.
Savage.
I've never forgotten what the difference of a calabacita
I
and
never
a
forgot a
pepino.
pepera. Same thing. I mean, I didn't have to bike over the hill for that shit. But I'm just
I know.
Just got my ear pulled here and there. It's all good.
You know, there's just not one, but I'm thinking now of all the trips I drove her to Nogales.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All the trips and how happy she was when we got there with Tia Malita. They would stay up late laughing and talking. You know, when Tio Calichi was sick, driving her, leaving her there, coming back to LA to work or go to school and then go back another week.
Got sick again. Let's go.
Yeah. There's the joy of her being with her siblings
Oh yeah.
was amazing.
I love
Yeah.
I love that.
I'd have to say, like, I don't know. One thing that sticks out is when my mom paid for a Disneyland hotel for me and my friends.
What?
That was pretty memorable. It was a good time. We just stayed at the Disneyland hotel and we swam and we messed around.
Ooh, cool friends.
Did she do it for
some
Michael and
high
Lisa
school
too?
friends, hell no. They weren't Disney people.
They're still not
They're
Disney.
still not Disney people. It was like, I don't remember. Oh, she said if I got like a certain GPA or something, she would do it.
That's good. That's worth it.
And then like my friends throughout the hallways would be like, "Yo, do you have a test today? Like, we doing this? Like, what's up?" I'm like, "I got a test. It's fine. I got it." And yeah, she followed through. That was pretty memorable for me.
That's
I think just knowing because it was like super expensive and it was like a single family income. So,
Yeah, that's a big deal.
yeah.
I know that. Mine is stupid, but I just think I don't know if it's stupid, but I think because my mom was working all the time, any day that she picked us up,
Oh,
because she almost never picked us up
right.
because
You
she was working until 5, and
because you
this
came
is
home with us.
yes, yeah, exactly. But it was a like different time. Like now you can really flex your time. Then it was like 9 to 5, baby. You gotta leave at 5.
Yeah.
So any day she
Depends
picked
where
us
you
up was like she'd make us a snack, and it was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh, is this how the other half lives? And it's interesting because Chris is like, oh, my mom, like he has good memories with his mom. And he's like, I always wish my mom had worked. She was smart and would have done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm always like, oh, my mom was a stay-at-home mom. So I think those days were good, and the observatory. That was a fun trip.
Yeah.
She took us to. Well, also traumatized me when Timothy threw
Yeah.
up because of his asthma.
But
I was like,
we
it was a
would
lot.
do that every summer.
Yeah, that was fun.
Oh,
It was a trip to Chinatown and the observatory.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
But you know what was the best day ever?
I don't know.
Ever for emphasis? When you guys took us and Theo Jaime's kids to like all those cool places.
Oh,
And
we
you
took
guys
the
made us
bus.
put that zinc on our nose.
yes, there's a picture. Oh,
We took
I
the
have
bus
pictures.
and then we took the metro.
Yes.
you have a picture where I'm really sad because everyone has an ice cream cone but me.
Why not?
I don't
Metro
remember
one.
why I didn't have one. I don't know if mine
You
fell.
must have
Maybe you
bad.
didn't want one.
It must have been bad.
I look real sad in the photo. I'm wearing a striped bathing suit.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a good time.
That was the best day ever.
That was fun.
That was a fun day.
One of those trips to the observatory, Stephanie was learning how to drive.
Oh shit.
We're going down
Went up
Sunset.
Grand Avenue. No, wait, was it Sunset?
We're going down Sunset, passing Grand. We're going down Sunset. And the bus kind of comes out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
The bus came out a little bit and Stephanie went all the way to the other side. And I was like, Stephanie! She came all the way back. She stopped.
I pulled over. I'm like, I'm
She
done.
pulled over.
Oh my
She said,
gosh.
I'm done. The car behind her had to swerve.
Oh my.
It was like, and it wasn't even, I mean, at the time,
Yeah.
It wasn't a big
for
deal,
her.
but it felt like it. But
It was
stupid.
for her. At the time, it was for her. But I was like, oh my God, she pulled over. I held on to my heart. And I thought, oh my stars, and Tim in the back seat's eyes were this big. Like, what the hell? She unhooked, got out. I didn't move. I said, get back
She
in.
said, get back.
I said, get back in.
She made you get back in?
Get back in. Get back in, and you're
My
going
mom
to drive
didn't teach
us.
me how to drive.
No, who taught you how to drive? That was the best lesson ever because I'm a freaking quitter. You know who it is, fault? I love him to death, but my dad's like, you don't like it? Quit. It doesn't taste good? Spit it out. You don't want to go? Tell him your dad said he won't let you.
She got back in the driver's seat. She was so upset at me. She didn't talk to me, but we made it to the observatory.
No, we did.
Just
Nice.
fine. Just fine. Now she's a crazy ass driver.
That's because you used to drive downtown. That's why.
Oh, get the fuck out of my way!
Exactly.
Well, you were gonna say something.
Who taught me how to drive?
Yeah.
Driving school.
I went
In
to
my
drive.
20s.
Yeah.
I went to driving school too, and something funny that happened with driving school is the person that I got. Everybody liked her because they were like, "Oh, you're gonna get the girl with the big boobs, right?" I was like, "I don't care. That's great for you guys." I got this driving instructor, and she was like, "I love my night. Just feel the music." She's like a youngish girl. She's like, "We're gonna go do something right now." I was like, "They should drive me to this address. It's my ex-husband's house. Now go stop right here and go put all these papers in his mailbox."
You were serving them?
And then she's like, "Come back in and go fast." And I'm like, "What is happening?"
Are you serving them divorce papers?
I don't know. I just put all these papers in it.
I don't know what I did.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Is that legal?
Maybe they were nasty
Probably not.
pictures.
Oh, hey.
I don't know.
But I did it.
I did it.
Wow.
Wow. I didn't pay for that.
Right?
Honestly.
You got more than you bargained for.
There you go.
You got more bang for your buck.
Anyway, this was fun. It was supposed to be structured, but it just ended up being, you know what? A free for all. That
Say it.
seems to be the
Say it.
theme.
You never know what happens when you're in this room.
Crazy shit happens.
What happens is that when you're serious about something, but that sparks a funny story. It sparks.
It really does.
And she fell, and
Now you know why we're so random sometimes. Because we just go for it.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
I
It's
know.
key to success.
Thank you so much for coming again, for coming back.
Wink, wink.
And thank you everyone for listening. Is there anything you want to add?
I love you.
I love you.
Elma,
I love you. I love you.
That's still so That's still so uncomfortable and awkward. I love you too.
No, not two. I love you.
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 I love you too.
Mucho amor, ditto. That's what we used to say in the 70s, ditto.
Ditto.
Oh my goodness.
Well, thank you
All
for listening. This was really fun.
Well, you guys keep this up. It's fun. People are enjoying it.
It's fun.
And I think it's
exciting.
good. Serious stuff, funny stuff.
We haven't even scratched the surface of the
Yeah.
stories or scratched the surface of like.
I know. Once we figure out how to record and get like people virtually, because it's hard with schedules and
Yeah.
stuff. But
We have just so many stories, so many things. But thank you for listening. Don't forget to follow the podcast and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Follow us on our social media. You'll see a picture of our mothers. Yeah.
Was that my good side?
Always. Every side is your good side. Thank you so much for giving our podcast a listen. Don't forget to subscribe. You'll never miss an episode. And until the next one.
take care of yourselves and each other. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode of La Vida Entre Primas. Life between cousins.
Love you.
Love you. Love you.